story of something I learned. You know, Johnny Teixeira, I don't know if anyone knows that name, but he ran against Jim Costa, it was 2018, or 2016. Grassroots guy, dairyman, worked his butt off, got no support from any of the elected Republicans, ended up beating Jim Costa on election night by about 3,000 votes. He went to D.C., he got sworn in, he was voting on the floor. And at the time, Paul Ryan was the speaker, and Kevin was, I believe Kevin was at the time, he was either the minority leader or he was the whip. And they went up to Johnny and they said to him, Johnny, you know, we love what you're talking about with water, we love it. But, you know, we don't actually want to solve that issue because we got a campaign off that issue. And Johnny kind of said to them, well, that's not why I came here. And, you know, they found 3,000 votes for Jim Costa and Johnny got sent home. So these are the things I found out, and it's tough. I got kicked in the teeth. They called people, you know, they had a lot more money. Kevin dumped about $1 million in. They called people, told them I was a liberal carpetbagger from Connecticut, and, you know, all those kind of things. Meanwhile, they were using my campaign, my slogans and everything. It was frustrating because we gave them all that info. So what do I offer people? Why do I think you should support me? There are a lot of people in this race now. Vince Fong is Kevin's pick. But Kevin also has his backup plan because, as we know, Vince should not be in this race. The current county recorder, despite what you think, the law is the law. We as Republicans have spent 3 years criticizing Democrats in swing states for not abiding by election law. And here you have Kevin McCarthy, the former most powerful Republican in Washington, advocating for someone to break election law because, quite frankly, he doesn't want me elected. Kevin does not want me elected because I am an actual Trump supporter. Kevin is a public Trump supporter, but behind the scenes, Kevin is not. Kevin spent millions in the primaries to get rid of Trump-supporting candidates, and he spent money against me, and he's been having fundraisers for the last 2 years for Ron DeSantis in this very district with his donors. And so he does not want me in there. And, you know, so he has Vince go in. I think everybody expected Shannon. I'm still surprised at her decision. Like I said, Shannon endorsed me last time. Shannon is a good woman. I still would have run because I think it would have just represented more of the same. You know, all these donors, I am the only one in this race who doesn't owe anybody anything. These people, they will not take my cause. They hang up the phone when I call them. They say, go away. They don't want me there. And it's unfortunate because I just want to help them. You know, I'm sitting here, I'm like, I am the only one in decades that has a real water plan. I have a comprehensive water plan that's not just a short-term fix. It's a long-term solution. It's on my website, davidagiglio.com/water. And I'm trying to help you, and here you are fighting me so hard. And you know, it's a lot on me. It's a lot on my family. You know, my wife, we went through it all the last time. And so I offer you a chance at real change. You know, everybody's going to say they're going to go there and do something, but everybody in this race is going to be controlled by the same donors. Kevin's got Vince. If Vince gets thrown off the ballot, the backup plan is Sheriff Bordeaux. He's waiting to the wings, just waiting to see what the Secretary of State does. If Vince gets thrown out, Kevin's endorsement is going to go right there. They're going to flood him with the money. And the other people that got in this race, quite frankly, some of them are in it just, you know, they put their name on the ballot, they have the money to put their name on the ballot. They're all, you know, Fresno casino owners, you know, people that are in with this crowd of people that have controlled everything for decades. I don't owe any of those people anything. So when I tell you I'm going to go there and fight for water, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to kick and scream and get it done. And I actually look at the fact that I wasn't born here as a plus, because before I got out here, I actually never had any idea how important the Central Valley was in terms of agriculture. And I said, there are people around the country that don't realize it. Every elected person from the Valley should be talking about this on national TV so the people around the country know that this is just as much a national security issue as petroleum. Okay? Because this is your food supply. You do not want to become dependent on other countries for your food supply. And if the American people knew that and understood that, they would say, this isn't a California water crisis. This isn't just a Western states water crisis. It's a national water crisis. And when President Trump was president, he actually was working to solve this. You know, he was making things. They were going to raise some dams. They were going to try and build some new storage. Unfortunately, we all know what happened. The clock ran out, and he was actually here a couple months ago, and he was telling people, you know, man, you know, I really wish we could have gotten that water stuff done. And so I know it's an issue that he's passionate about. And so I'm going to go to him with my plan because it's a complex plan. It goes all the way back to the 20s where they basically created a water commission. It's a very detailed plan, but it needs support from the top, and it needs to be able to force someone like Gavin Newsom's hand to get things done. You know, I do believe it's a pivotal point in history. We have to show the American people that our government is going to work for us. When I say America first, I mean Spending money wisely, not lavishly. You can cut spending, but spend it on programs that matter, that directly benefit the American people. I quite frankly think, I am 35 years old. My wife and I, we just bought our house a few years ago. Home ownership in this country, it's a crisis. People can't even buy a home. 95% of the counties in this country, people can't afford to buy a home. They're having to rent. And this is an issue that, why are people in Congress talking about that? Instead, all they're focusing on, when Speaker McCarthy got his gavel taken away, and he was, crying over it, the only thing that Congress was worried about, what were they worried about? Were they worried about getting back so they could deal with inflation, so they could deal with the homeowner crisis? No, they were worried because they wanted to send more money your way to foreign countries. We have to invest in our country, in infrastructure, things that matter. We have to reform our government. I fully believe in term limits. I want to bring accountability back to government. I want to ban members of that's another, I was in a room where Kevin McCarthy promised he was going to bring a vote for a stock trading ban. Okay? He never brought that vote. I don't know if you know, remember before the midterms, Nancy Pelosi actually said she was going to bring one to the floor too. They said, oh, Congress is going to vote on this, and then it went away and it never came up. I want that ban. No member of Congress or their family should be trading stocks. It's not a thing to get rich. It's public service, okay? I want to eliminate all PACs because, quite frankly, you can win an election without getting any money from your district. That's why you have so many people elected in Washington that don't vote in accordance with the will of their voters, but they keep getting reelected because they're getting checks from Washington, from all these big things. We have to eliminate PACs. We have to make sure candidates have to spend time in their district talking to the people that matter. And if we don't do this, everybody says it's the most consequential election in history. I truly do believe this because we're going towards a path where the left really wants power and the right doesn't really want to be serious about stopping them. Far too many Republicans want to fundraise and send out text messages. By the way, if I send you one, don't kill me. I hate getting them too. I unsubscribe all the time, but I get them. But quite frankly, I do need some money to win. But they want to fundraise on the issue, but they don't actually want to do it. They want to get on TV. They want to have a good time. They want to create high profiles. They don't want to solve it. If you solve the crises, you wouldn't have to worry about getting reelected because you'd be a hero to your constituents. They'd vote for you. Stop lying to them. That's why you have to worry about getting elected. So I offer a change here. And the state of this race is fascinating. Kevin's going to pump a lot of money. Kevin has about, I think, estimates 17 to 20 million in his PACs and all that stuff. And he's got money everywhere. I mean, there's been estimates, I've talked to people that people don't even know how much Kevin has in the war chest money. So Kevin's going to flood his people. They're going to run ads against me. I can't compete with them dollar for dollar. But I don't feel I have to do it. What we need to do is we have to raise enough money so people know my message and get it out there, and we will win. Because even when I was running against Kevin, I said, I don't care if Kevin has $20 million. What's Kevin going to promise to people with his $20 million? Any promise he makes to them, he's already had decades of failing to deliver on it. So he can spend all this money he wants against me, but if I can just raise enough so people know who I am and have a real choice on the ballot, I think we'll win, and I think we'll shock a lot of people. But I feel that I'm the only one who gives you guys that option. I have this flyer here, and I put a lot of this stuff. I'll openly talk about election integrity. A lot of Republicans never want to talk about the issue. Kevin himself never wants to talk about the issue. And that's something we have to do. It's bipartisan. 90% of voters in this country want voter ID. That's not 90% of Republicans. That's Democrats, Independents. Everyone wants it. If you don't have secure elections, people deserve to have faith in their government and the elections. If you don't have faith, you lose faith in it. And everybody, talks about Rome and all this stuff, Roman Empire things. I say this is more of the Roman Republic. I was a teacher, so I'm going to throw this in there. Because I got lucky to teach about Rome and I loved it. But this is more of a Roman Republic thing. Why did the Roman Republic fail? Because you had a group of senators, these elites, who were not interested in doing what was as time went on, they didn't care about the common people. They were interested in themselves and their friends. And so people lost faith in their republic. And then you had a guy like Julius Caesar, and they said, this guy, he was a hero among his troops. He gave them, he paid them. He did things for them. They said, this is the kind of leadership we need. We cannot lose our republic because this is the greatest nation in the world. We should be proud of it. But right now, unfortunately, there's a lot going on. And I believe that these America First policies that President Trump has brought is the only future for the Republican Party. Unless we embrace it, we are going to continue to lose because we need to appeal to voters. We can bring in so many more people to our side. There's nothing wrong. We should embrace being the party of working class, average Americans. I think that that's what we need to do, because the Democrats have been living on that mantra for decades and they haven't delivered on any of it. And voters are starting to see that now. That's why you're seeing polls where Trump is doing really well. They love Trump. They don't necessarily trust Republicans. They have a lot of reason not to trust Republicans. I want to give them a reason to do it. I view this race as one of the most important in the country. If we are able to win this race, honestly, it'll be a shock to them all. They'll never see it coming. Well, might see it coming, but probably not.
3 minutes.
Yeah, they're going to do a lot of things, but when we win this, it's going to show them that America's had enough, and this is a new day. So I do have a couple minutes. If anybody wants to ask a question, I'd love to get one.
I got a question. Your first name is David, right?
Yes.
Like David versus Goliath.
Yeah, that's what.
Excellent. Do you know Charlie Kirk on America's?
Yeah, I know. I don't know him personally, but I know him.
Can you and your wife and your young son or daughter, is it?
Yeah, son, Brooke.
Hop in the car, go to America Fest in Phoenix, Arizona, meet Steve Bannon of the War Room, and you need to get on that show.
Yeah, I was on Bannon, luckily, towards the end of last time I ran. We're working on that. I'm actually going, I'm trying to get there. We're actually going to Arizona anyway for, my wife's grandmother is there. We're bringing her the great-grandson to see Brooks, to see her. So we're going to try and make it work. I'm actually going there Sunday, though, because I'm invited to speak at Republicans for National Renewal event where Corey Mills is going to be there, a couple other people. I didn't think I was going to go. Today I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go. So I'm going to have a long day on Sunday, but it'll be worth it.
Hey, everybody, I just came in late. As a pastor, one of the things we talk about is you never speak ill of the dead. Well, in Republican speak, Reagan had 11th commandment. And here's the thing, you're at a Republican meeting. No politician is perfect. But I don't think I would ever say that Kevin or anybody else has done everything wrong or has never done anything right. One of the statements you said when I came in. I'm personally really bothered by that because you have some great points. I agree with you, voter ID, all these things are things that we need to do and we haven't done. But I think if we keep shooting our own, I don't know what happened behind the scene, maybe you do, but if we keep shooting our own and then we turn around and ask for support from our own, I don't think that's a good platform.
Well,
and so wait.
Ronald Reagan said that, but Ronald Reagan himself would never defend Republicans he felt were doing an inferior job. Ronald Reagan ran against an incumbent Republican president because he didn't think he was doing a good enough job. We have to hold our own to a higher standard. So I criticize Republicans because I believe they're not delivering enough. The country, we're always settling for less. And quite frankly, the time for the status quo is over. So I'm going to call out Republicans more because I expect better out of them. So
I would encourage you. I would encourage critique rather than criticize. I would encourage that.
So, before we continue with the questions and answers, I said at the beginning, Chris was going to come up as well, so we could just have that whole forum. So that I wanted to get that out of the way as well,